So all I do is blink, and it's day 7. This is welcome to day 7 of the Secret Spirits Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar, 5th edition for 2018. We're already on the 7th day. Well, I might as well just rush into it and then get contemplative and take my time with it. I think it's day 07 now, isn't it? Yeah, it's the 7th day. So let's see what we got for the 7th. 07, right there. So next to the glass. Right there. This one on the top. Okay, I'm not looking. I'll bring it right back here. Well, I got another clean glass. It's going to be a real pain. I got to wash several glasses this week. Okay, there's fingerprints on the outside. Sorry about that. But I've got lots of glasses to wash this week already. And here's my sample. I have not looked at the label yet. I'm just loosening the tight little... there we go. We got the tight little cap open. And now we poured the whole contents into the Glencairn, whose inside is at least clean. The outside maybe not so much so because it's covered with fingerprints. Okay. Oh, this one has a few little bubblies on it too. But they're popping faster than the one did yesterday. I wonder why that is. Is there some soap residue left? I sure hope not. I thought I rinsed these out really well. This is the second one. 7th one. Oh. I'm getting fruity notes already from this far away. Yes. Fruity notes. This one's quite malty. And you know, it's kind of grainy too. Not only is it malty and grainy, it's somewhat woody. I'm getting something savory. Reminds me of gravy. But it's not gravy, of course. Let's see if we got some legs. Everything falls off the side of the glass pretty fast. It just goes zoop right down. So I'm guessing we're at a relatively low ABV. And my nose is telling me likewise. I'm getting some medium fruits like plums, sultanas. And there's a curious vanilla note and something nutty. It reminds me of cashews. Along with all of this nuttiness, there's something chocolatey like the Tootsie Roll. It's like Tootsie Rolls. Sort of like that semi-hard, semi-chewy, dark brown colored Tootsie Roll that looks like something else. What is this Crap, I'm getting something on my screen here. It says to download Adobe Flash Player. Why? No. Don't bother me now, especially when I'm making a video. I tell you, all kinds of stuff pops up when you least expect it or need it. I never used Adobe Flash Player. Why should I download it? So I'm getting Tootsie Roll, nuttiness, fast legs that run down real quick. Getting some fruity notes, red fruits, ripe red fruits, but not dried. Maybe a bit of strawberry in there too. Interesting. If what I'm getting on the palate is anything like I'm getting on the nose, it's going to be a complex little thing. I'm going to really stick my nose in there and the exhalation gives me I don't know. It seems to be grainy, but it's a blend of some kind, I'm pretty sure. And it's got some sherry cask with some of the malt that's in there. Maybe some bourbon too. Because I'm getting some vanilla. And hiding under that, there's a hint of caramel. There it is. Now the caramel's coming out. I knew I was getting a hint. Now I'm getting a lot more. Yeah, getting quite a bit, but I really gotta shove my nose in there. So there's chocolate, caramel. What else is there? Quite a pleasant nose on this. But I'm pretty sure that I detected that there's a blend going on here. If it was a single malt, it seems to me like the flavors would be more distinct and more leaping out and saying like, here I am, I'm ginger, and here I am, I'm caramel, and here I am, I'm plums, and here I am, I'm licorice or whatever. But here, the chocolate and caramel and fruity notes, which seem to have done this kind of thing. The fruity notes have moved aside to get me down to the chocolate. The nuttiness seems to be moved aside too. Caramel, vanilla. Wait, did I say strawberries before? Bit of raspberry on there too. Interesting. Let's taste it. Let's see if it tastes anything like what it noses as. Mm. 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 There's a lot more sherry on the palate than there is on the nose. And now that I'm looking at it, there are drops of whiskey sticking to the sides of the glass inside there. Or is that just the water from my breath? No, the legs seem to run down fast. Those legs are just running right down. Still, the flavor is quite intense. Um, Quite a bit of sherry. Yeah, European oak, giving some of that spiciness, some tannins. Okay, there's a lot of sherry going on here. It's quite sweet as well. Um, Sweet sherry coating my mouth inside, dry on the sides, a little bit tingly on the tip of the tongue. Do that again. Vanilla ice cream. Oh, yeah. Yes, there are definite tannins from the wood, sweetness from the sherry. And the sherry seems to hang on for a while. It hangs on every time I take a breath in. There's still a bunch of it on the tip of my tongue. Would I go so far as to say it's bitter? No, it's not bitter, but it has hints of bitterness from the tannins. Um, I don't know how else to describe it. Let's see what happens. Well, let's have a sip of water. Let's see if anything happens with this little dram if I add some water. As we go along, my education is increasing. I'm learning a lot from this series. It's learning a lot of what I don't know. Learning that I don't know so much. I think I may have said that yesterday or the day before, that this is quite an education, especially doing it blind. You can only go by what you're tasting. You can't go by any preconceived notions. You can't say, oh, it's a Speyside, it's going to be like this. Or, oh, it's from Isla, it's going to be like that. Well, that's what yesterday was. It was totally Isla, and I just spotted it right away. But, if it would have said Isla region, you'll go, ho hum, Pete. peat smoke, iodine, sea spray, lemons. Goodbye. But this is not anywhere near Isla. This made me think of a blend at first. But now, with some water in there, there's definitely sherry. This is making me think. I'm not getting those grainy notes anymore with the water added. It's just giving me every indication that it's a Speyside. And going by the fudgy, caramelly, vanilla, and sherry, the style of sherry in this reminds me of a young Glenfarclas. Definitely reminds me of something like that. A young Glenfarclas. And I'm fairly familiar with Glenfarclas, having had a few bottles. The 15. Now that's so far my favorite expression. I've got a bottle right down there waiting for me to crack it. What am I waiting for? I've got a lot of open bottles already, and some of them are near the end. And I've been polishing off a few not legs, but heels lately. This is nice. With the addition of water, there's more of that bitterness from the European sherry cask. I'm pretty sure it's European sherry cask. This is nice. Very nice. Now it's getting quite bitter on the finish. Adding the water has brought that bitterness out, and it's brought the fruits out too. But maybe it's compressed. Well, the vanilla, the caramel that I'm getting on the nose doesn't seem to be there on the palate now. Where I'm getting caramel on the nose, on the palate I'm getting those sweet sherry notes. And as the sweetness and the sherry moves aside, strange how this is changing. Yes, there it is. The bitterness on the tongue. The bitterness on the finish. Bitterness from tannins. And I'm repeating myself, right? I know I'm repeating myself. I gotta find out what this is because it's killing me. Let us see. Okay. Adelphi. Breath of Speyside, aged 11 years. Blended malt Scotch Whisky, distilled in 2006. Cask type, sherry. Region, Speyside. 57.5% alcohol by volume. Goodness. I didn't think it was that high. Well, there was water added to this, but the legs just, yeah, they just run down. You know what? I'm not a leg expert, okay? I'm more of a TNA man. So, Breath of Speyside, aged 11 years. So, it's a blended malt. So, blended malt, I'm sure there is some Glenfarclas in there. I'm sure. And it's from Adelphi. Quite interesting. Well, I'm not gonna beat the puddle on the sidewalk that used to be the carcass of a dead horse. And I'm gonna say Slanchula.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Yeah.